What's up? Welcome to my live feed. Hopefully notifications will go out. There they are. Snorelord OG's going live. Sterling, what's up, man? You're the first one in here. The only one in here. TB's in the house. Sterling on my way to Portland. Good deal. Got the Snorelord coffee mug. Draco. Let's do this here. Oops. There. Morning, Steve. Hope all is well. Not too bad, man. Clyde, I forgot that I was going to call you about your trailer. It's been a hectic week. Did about $20,000 in freight dispatch this week between 4 trucks. So it's been a pretty successful week. Next week will probably be very light, so which is good because I plan on, it's Labor Day weekend, so I've got one truck to cover for Tuesday, and then so I'll poke around, but for the most part I think I'm going to be cleaning out the truck partially today and partially Monday. I should be cleaning out now instead of doing this live feed, but I haven't done a live feed on this channel in a minute. The last one we did last week was interrupted. The guys came out and took away all the trees, so there's more light over here now. They took care of the branches that were over this part of the house because we didn't want a repeat of what happened on the front. And then they sent a guy out to check the damage on the roof from the other tree, and there were some indentations, but it didn't go all the way through, so that was good news. And we have the insurance adjuster coming by to kind of take a look at things, so we'll see what that entails. I'd be mowing the lawn right now, but it's wet because of the dew point, so and then this afternoon we're going to a birthday party, so I'll be in Joplin this afternoon. The kids will be, manning the house and all that. And that's about it. I've gotten 683 clicks on the truck and only 2 inquiries from Facebook. So a friend of mine told me I should boost the post on Facebook, and that would get more hits. But realistically, I would love for it to go to someone that liked trucking. So, but I'm not doing the lease purchase deal. Unless you show me you got 20 grand in the bank or something. But who's got 20 grand in the bank? So, Ponzi, what's up, man? Cleaning out a truck is tougher when you owned it. I'm ready. Number one, I despise cleaning out trucks because when it comes to how much stuff I had in the truck, I've got a lot of stuff in my truck. I remember Big Rig CEO, when he still liked me, I took him to Illinois to go get his truck, and he was looking around my truck like, man, he got too much crap, dude. Because I outfitted that truck to be on the road for several months at a time. even though I think the longest I was out was a month. I have both winter and summer clothing in there because I had no place to really put the clothing, and I didn't want to be like stuck somewhere cold when all I had was shorts and vice versa, right? Um, and I have tools, I have exercise equipment. It's just, and a lot of food. Like all the food in that truck's probably bad. I took out the coffee, but a lot of the canned goods are probably no good anymore, sitting in that extreme cold, extreme heat, going back and forth. So it's time for, so basically I'm putting the big trash can next to the truck, and I'll be tossing a lot of stuff. Um, and then I got to go by the store and get a couple of bins for the stuff I don't want to throw away just yet. Stuff that could be donated, stuff that could be sold, um, things of that nature. So. CB says, if you have a stripper pole in the truck, you have too much stuff. Until then, it's just being prepared. And that's funny. I that's how I was. I'm prepared. Like I have a bunch of cooking stuff in there, and got my little coffee pot. Got the microwave. Things like that. That just, I try to be self-sustainable because during COVID, when you couldn't get into a truck stop or you couldn't get food from the restaurants, I stocked that truck. It was funny. Everybody was like talking about all the bare shelves at Walmart. So what I did was I went to an independent grocery store and I stocked up. It was more expensive, but I stocked that truck with food and water and things that I would need for the next month. And I, for the most part, kept it. And then after a while, when things kind of normalized a little bit, then I pulled everything out. So how much stuff do I have in there? I have a lot of stuff. Truckers Education Network. Which, Jeff, I hope you're okay, man. I tried getting a hold of you yesterday, and you're probably busy. Hey, kitty. You want to be on YouTube? This is my favorite cat. He's like, dude. It's like, get away. Anyways, so yeah, Jeff, I have a lot of stuff in there. Make your truck an Airbnb. Like I said, I would rather it go to like trucking. That way I don't have to pull the ELD out, but I'm not willing to finance a lease purchase person. So coffee, I do have coffee. And it's black, it's regular coffee, Pale Rider, it's Folgers. I don't know what Folgers did, but Folgers changed their formula, man. It's not a... You had a house disaster yesterday, wasn't fun? Oh, okay. Well, hope everything's alright. You'll have to explain to me what happened to that one trailer, though. But, Folgers, I think, changed their, formula. I'm rude, man. I did not read I didn't do the shout outs, so let me do that here real quick. Everybody that's in the house. Let's see. Sterling, CB, Draco. I can't remember, I'm sorry. Clyde, what's up? Jerome Jones, good morning. CB, you're on your way to do 26 stops from Florida to Indiana. Wow. That's a lot of stops. Clearing out a truck is tougher when you owned it. Ponzi, good morning. Open all the doors, says Sterling. toss everything out, sort it on the ground. I mean, that's kind of where, that's probably what's going to happen. Moving from one's home is stressful. Well, we're not moving, Ponzi. We're just clearing it out, man. We're not going into another truck. Retired trucker says coffee. I carry 20 gallons of water in the truck and enough dry food the last 2 weeks at any given time. There you go. That's what I do, and that saved my butt. So I had a radiator hose blow one time, and I had about 5 gallons of water in the truck. Well, I put the gallons in the water, patched up the hose the best I could, and got to uh, the shop before the hose finally gave out again. And then, of course, I had them do, full flush and all that. So, but having all that water was, with the CPAP machine and I brew my own coffee, I would actually have about 5 or 6 gallons plus a 24 pack of bottled water. Sterling finds the niche. Always sell to strangers. No warranty, no guarantee. Will you have time Monday for our show? Oh, yeah. Is that? Yeah. Yeah, just tell me when, Sterling. Preferably in the afternoon for me. Good morning from West Texas, from California to Florida. Wow. We're doing the big long miles. I was having a conversation with one of my drivers yesterday that likes to run the short game. And it's pretty easy with him because he runs like I did. And I know this area. He lives just south of me. And we were talking about the difference between long haul and short haul, and it's very interesting to look at the numbers. The rate per day, and it's interesting to see the different running styles and what they create revenue wise. And I've always been a short game guy. Because in a market like this, a lot of times you can make your daily rate running less miles. I mean, Jeff always kind of preached that. But you have to know your market. You have to know the area. You have to be in a good area. Like, you couldn't do that if you lived in like South Dakota or Montana or even Texas. You could probably pull it off, but you got to be in a good market to do that. Where you're doing like between 200 and 400 miles a day and still getting that daily rate with less fuel. The problem is actually the high fuel prices, because what's happened is everybody else has figured that out. So when the price of fuel is high, then you run the short game. But unfortunately, it's because it's so saturated that now the runs that used to pay $1,000 a day are now like $600 a day. So it becomes a challenge, and a lot of people won't mess with something for $600 a day, which very rarely do I try to book something like that. It's got to be stupid easy, for me to do something like that. Now, I've done it for myself, like Joplin to Springfield or Joplin to Rogers or something like that. But as far as like wasting the whole day on it, we try not to put ourselves in that position. Monday afternoon will work. We will talk apnea. Yes. So what we're going to do, Sterling is going to interview me, and we're going to talk about his favorite apnea songs and the stories behind them. I've been really looking forward to this. It's going to put a smile on my face. So yeah, late afternoon for me would work, because I don't think we got anything going on. If I do any kind of booking or anything, it'll be in the morning. Like I said, I've only got to find loads for one truck. So, um, that wants to come out on Tuesday. But that's going to be, it'll be interesting to see if any brokers answer the phone. If they do, they're going to do it from home, and they're going to pull the whole, you know, I don't know how much leverage I'll have, so it probably won't be a big deal. The Georgia-Florida game got weak. Well, yeah. Um, we still got a driver being real successful with that, though. Need volume. Volume on the video or volume in miles? Shannon, good morning. I try to keep the truck between 20 and 30 grand a month. Yeah, sometimes, you know, Ponzi's right. Sometimes you need volume. Sometimes you just gotta put in the miles when they're not paying great per mile, you know, so you get your daily rate. And I don't, you know, there's a sweet spot, right? You know, like this past week, what I invoiced was I had one load that paid $1,800 for about 670 miles with about 50-mile deadhead. And then we got dry van, and then we had another that was 5 stops inside Colorado for $2,000 with a total of 460 miles. So those are the sweet spot loads that work well. And just manipulating using the market, right? So if you run the short game, like let's say I wanted to run the short game Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma, I'm at the mercy of the market. And so it takes a constant combing of the low boards to accomplish that. Now, if you're running that short game though, let's say you don't want to use a guy like me, you're dispatching yourself. When you run the short game like that, you're probably sitting a lot at docks. And that's where you would have your time to look at the low board, and you know, if you got some relationships with brokers, you know, that can basically help dispatch you in a way, then that's a strategy that if you're a one-man show. Ponzi says, "Oh, I was talking about the number of shorties that got a hit. It's all good when the sweet spot." Yeah. So for a minute, I was doing these loads, Joplin to Rogers. I was doing 2 of those a day. I would just deadhead back, and that was bringing me $1,100 a day. That was my own truck. This is before I was dispatching, and that was good. It was a project kind of thing, so it's not like something that's going on today. What it was the place in Joplin was feeding these different areas, these different warehouses of their product, just cranking them out, warehousing it, which is why I knew that the rates were getting ready to crash, because there was a lot of projects going on of companies warehousing a lot of stuff for future storage. And that was one of those deals. And the worst part about that run was the construction in Bella Vista at the time. And that was it. I mean, now you just bypass Bella Vista on I-49. They finished it all the way through, and oh, that would be such an easy, sweet run to do if it existed, you know, but it doesn't exist. But that same project for a while, it went from Joplin to Muskogee, which it didn't quite pay enough to deadhead back. So you had to find something on the way back. So you couldn't quite accomplish the same goals, but and then every now and then there's a Joplin to Springfield that occurs. And so if the shipper and receiver will cooperate and have their act together, and you could do 2 or 3 of those a day within your hours, it makes for a long day. But man, your rate per day and your fuel mileage, or your fuel economy is through the roof. So retired trucker says Jimmy Buffett passed. Yeah, wonder what happened to all that money. Sure the family got all of it. Shannon, good morning. With both feet, good morning. Yeah, Bob Barker passed away last week. Hey, I thought this was Snorelord OG channel. What's this freight gang we're talking about, right? When did Buffett die? Last night, I believe. Pirates look at 40. No idea what that means. But I struggle with this YouTube thing sometimes, because I think to be a successful YouTube social media guy, you got to be a loud person. You got to be the loudest one in the room. And I think that's something I'm not willing to do. You're resisting smart aleck answer. JB song that P2, okay. Pirates looking for it. Okay, that's a song that he had. Okay. Throwing me off there. But I noticed that like YouTube Shorts, I know that they're like an always saved version of TikTok. You know, when I tell people they got to quit TikTok, you know, and they say that they can't, and I said, well, that should be alarming to you. I've noticed that I've had trouble with the YouTube Shorts, so I think I went close to 2 weeks without watching any YouTube Shorts, except for my own, because I uploaded a couple, and lo and behold, my production got better. You know, things around the house got better. I was able to read more pages in my book that I'm on. And so when I do watch YouTube Shorts, there's ones that work off of fear. There's ones that work off of constructive, like, you know, like tool hacks or homework hack, you know, not homework, but like do-it-yourself hacks, thrift store hacks, you know, stuff like that, which those are okay. And then you have the chicks that do the cutesy dance, you know, and brag about how many men they've been with or how many threesomes they had. I just immediately hit don't recommend this channel. It's like too much pride to sit there like, oh, look how cute I am. Look how many men I've been with. Look how sexy I am. Look how my boobs hang out, you know. And that is the addictive stuff that's bad for us, right? I don't, you know, I appreciate a good-looking woman, but I don't need them dancing, bragging, you know, being prideful about absolutely nothing. I mean, that's the Kardashian kind of approach that I'm just like, it's stupid, right? There's some funny ones, some real creative ones, like Buckets the drummer, Buckets the horse drummer, which Red Chicken may be heavily influenced by here lately, so we'll see what that turns out. Red Chicken does have a channel, so who knows. There's shorts that advertise like a longer video, like Order of Man has that, you know. Dr. Bird, stuff like that. But for the most part, you have people yelling at you. You have people just like, learn how to do the simple home act. Blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, you don't need that. And so, being the loudest person in the room, in my opinion, it shows weakness. A lot of people say the most dangerous person is the quiet one, the one that's thinking, the quiet person in the room, the quiet man in the room. And when people get on social media and they're ranting, raving, and yelling, and even like the podcast style, like you have people that are like literally yelling into the microphone. And I was having a conversation with the driver yesterday who was in a pretty tough predicament, or day before yesterday, or no, it was yesterday we had the conversation, but he was in a predicament the day before, and he called me and he said, dude, you have a reassuring, soft voice. And drivers need that. People need that. And I'm not bragging, because I'm sure my kids will tell you that, who's this guy you're talking about? Dad, But I've learned to calm my volume down, because it does no good to be the loudest person in the room. But in order to get YouTube clicks and views, you got to be loud. You got to be in your face. You got to be yelling. You got to be insulting. You got to be challenging. And I'm like, I can't do that. That's why I'm never going to be a TikTok gazillionaire, because I can't do that. I want to add value, not add to the digital noise that's out there. Because look, I know people personally that are going through a really tough time, and some of the contributors are all the digital noise that they fill their heads with. I know people that are very down on society. They're very negative about what, the country and the economy and stuff like that where we're heading, because that's all they consume. That's all they consume is that. And YouTube Shorts will put it on. It's like concentrate. It's like, that frozen concentrate orange juice or apple juice. You can either make, not that stuff's good for you, but let's say that you do that, right? If you take that juice and you pour it in a pitcher, the more water you add, the more diluted it gets, right? You're still consuming that juice, but you're doing a little bit over time, or whereas YouTube Shorts is kind of like the version of, you open the can and you just eat it right from the can. That's what YouTube Shorts. So if you're consuming a lot of these podcasts that are all about doom and gloom, and the world's this way, and crime's this way, and the economy's this way, well, the YouTube Shorts that YouTube's going to suggest to you is going to throw that all in your feed. Next thing you know, you've been sitting there for an hour and you have this negative outlook in life, and you don't want to get anything done. You don't want to do anything. Your drive, your motivation goes away. Your hope goes away. It gets destroyed. And then it'll throw in a couple of beautiful landscapes and a couple of cutesy girls doing their thing, and just to kind of keep you hooked, just to kind of give you a small 1 minute break, and then it's right back into the crap. And next thing you know, a week later, you're not feeling good about yourself. You're not feeling good about the world. You're not feeling good about anything. Your hope goes away. Your gratitude goes away. Your ability to focus goes away. And that's a problem. That's what they want. Because what do we do if we're hopeless and dreamless? You know, we get hooked on these dopamine hits. Well, we're gonna eat badly. We're gonna drink more. We're gonna partake in things that maybe we shouldn't. And you know, just to keep that happiness, quote unquote, going. It's not true happiness. Yeah, you're spiking your cortisol levels, and when you're able to step away from that stuff, you know, it helps you clear your mind. It helps you um, refocus, and that's what I had to do. Too many YouTube shorts. The only thing I can't quit is the puppy dog videos on Instagram. Yeah, that's that dopamine hit, right? It makes you feel good. It's cute. Makes you forget the world's kind of stupid, right? Um, to be successful in YouTube, you have to be agitating. Shannon says some people have daddy issues. Cheap freight hauler, good morning. The older we get, the quicker we realize most things aren't a real problem. That's true. You could, but you won't. Some shit ain't right, right? We'll have to watch the replay. Headed to work. Have a great day. This is with both feet. Uh, and that's what it does. It spikes your cortisol levels. Sterling headed to Portland, Oregon, or Maine. I'm heading in South Carolina, heading to Salem, Oregon. He's going to Oregon. He don't touch the right coast. Cheap freight hauler. I if you're having trouble sleeping at night, put the phone away for about 2 hours before you go to bed. You know, and that's hard when you're in a truck, man. You're just it's right there. That was a huge problem with me when I was driving. Is I would be on that phone, and the next thing you know, I'm sleeping in like 2 hour increments, and not feeling good about things, and that's something that you want to keep in mind. A physical book helps me wind down. I finished the Warrior Poet Society book, which is awesome. If you can get that, it is a great book, especially if you're a fan of the Warrior Poet YouTube channel. Excellent, excellent, excellent book. Chapter 9 was hard for me to read, but it was an excellent book. It's learn to recognize when things are against you. Like, oh, what's a great example? Things on the surface may seem like they're good for you, but they're not. Sometimes the internet can show you things that you think are good for you, but they're not. And I'll give you a perfect example. Toxic positivity. Have you guys heard of that? That is where people post these inspirational quotes. They have this picture of this grand sunrise or this grand sunset or this beautiful picture on the beach or you know, lifting 500 pounds or you know, even like ones that are meant to be like coaching, like, oh, you know, you only get somewhere with hard work, and it shows a man sweating, you know, at the weight next to him, and or it shows like two people digging holes and one's really close to the end, and you're like, that person's going to be successful, and you know, you can't get anywhere if you quit, bro. That kind of stuff. And what happens is you watch this stuff, and you read these memes, and you think to yourself, well, I'm not like that. I don't have that scenery. Let's say I lived in the middle of the Bronx. I don't see those sunrises and sunsets like that. You know, it must be nice. You know, and if you find yourself being the person who goes, well, that's great, must be nice, there's a disconnect there. And what happens is it creates these false expectations of how life is. And the next thing you know, you feel worse about your life. So what happens? You go back into the food and alcohol and things that are bad for you. You know, the bad food and the alcohol and all the other activities that are just, or you just zone out with video games, or you sit there and just watch more TikTok videos. And next thing you know, your motivation is gone, and now you feel bad about it. You feel worse about it because you're sitting there watching all these people, must be nice, you know, and thinking that, well, if I had those circumstances, I could do that too. And so there's not very many empowering, it's not very empowering, right? It's toxic positivity. You know, imagine you're homeless, living in your car, and someone goes, "You need to, you need to do this, and you can do it, and you know, don't be, you know, rah rah." You know, you're just like, whatever. You know, that doesn't do anybody any good. Because what I found is you can talk to people all day long. Like I have drivers that call me, "Hey Steve, I'm struggling here, man. I wish I can get this done. I wish I could do that. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with that." And then I could tell them all day long about how to, okay, this is the market you're in. This is what you want to do. This is what you should do with your, you know, with the finance side. This is what you should do with the freight side. This is what you should do with this market that you're in. And you can say that all day long, but many don't listen. And there's a point where I had to be not offended anymore if people don't listen. And so these motivational, because that's human nature. So if a driver's having issues, well, okay, I've told you 4 times how to accomplish this. You can do this. Then at one point you have to say, okay, why do you not want to do this? Why are you struggling? You know, if they go, well, I can't find a good load. Well, what constitutes a good load? What attributes are you looking for a good load? Right? And then you got to get to the root. And then you find out that the driver has anxiety, or the driver is overstressed at home, or you know, things aren't going right somewhere else in their life. And so you find the root of that. These rah coaching, you know, social media posts don't address that. All they do is piss you off if you're in a bad situation and you don't know how to get out. It just makes you feel worse about yourself than you already do. And having the gift of discernment and the ability to distinguish what's healthy for you, what's not, that's important. That's something that has, and you know, like drinking alcohol, I had to figure out why I was drinking, you know, and once I figured that out, well, I hardly drink now. You know, there was a time before I was driving that was a problem. Um, so I get it, right? I get the struggles. When a driver calls me and says, "Hey man, I can't find a good load. I've been sitting for 2 days." I was that guy. I did that. Go back to the comments here. Sterling says, I run Reno to Portland, Salt Lake, Diamond Bar, California. Comparison is the thief of happiness, says CB. Absolutely. It is. And that's what these videos do. I'm reading a philosophy book, What is Called Thinking. It's a real trip so far. Yeah, send me a link to that book. I've been a book guy. Oh my gosh, I bought 2 books recently, and I can't even get through them all. I'm stupid. As a truck driver, I want everyone else to become a billionaire, so it's a lot easier for me to make 100K. That's a good. Isn't that the Reaganomics in action there? Unhappiness is the direct measure of discipline, says Sterling. I agree with that. I agree, because I struggle with discipline sometimes. A lot, actually. And you know, and that was one of the hard chapters of that book, was, you know, talking about parenting and mistakes I've made as a parent. Because I was too self-indulgent in my younger years when my kids were younger. One of my guilt trips was when I was driving. I loved the job so much that I felt guilty about it. Because I was doing something I enjoyed. And so it felt self-indulgent. You know, when I'm sitting there doing a 34 in Montana or Wyoming, and it's all nice out, and you know, and there's not a care in the world, and I'm watching, you know, football, eating Doritos and Mountain Dew, and you call it work, because I was in the truck. That felt self-indulgent to me, and there was some underlying guilt due to that, because I was seeing these beautiful sceneries that I wish my wife and kids could see. And you know, and so there's a lot of stuff in the chapter 9 of that Warrior Poet book that I really started beating myself up over. But then I watched an Order of Man video that kind of calmed me back down, and you only know what you know, right? You can't beat yourself up for the past. And that's tough. Self-forgiveness is tough. You know, people are like, well, you know, would you forgive someone that killed one of your kids? That would be tough. But forgiving yourself is tougher. Because as you learn, as you progress, as you figure out, well, that probably wasn't a great idea, it just seems natural that you wouldn't do that. And so it seems natural, like, wow, I was an idiot when I did that. And that's the thing. And so regret can be kind of, it could be a killer. Regret can be a big, huge killer. You know, I think the goal is, when you're on your deathbed, to have the least amount of regret as possible. Shannon says, I suffer from that guilt sometimes. It is, you know, and there'd be moments when the kids were younger, and I'm sitting there doing a 34, just chilling, and I know that my wife's going through a hard time at home because the kids, you know, one of them is sick, or, you know, she had a lot on her plate. You know, she was going to school at one point for education, and it was tough, you know, because You know, she's basically a single mom, you know, when I'm on the road. And that had some guilt too. Not that she was like, she didn't put guilt trips on me. You know, she's not that kind of person. I wouldn't be with a person like that. But I was just thinking, man, I wish I could help her. I wish I could be there. I wish I could like take up some of the slack. Because as a man, you want to be able to do that. As a man, you want to be like, well, I'm going to help take care of things. Well, you feel helpless. You know, when you're 1,000 miles away doing a 34 and, you know, there's a bunch of crap going on at home. You know, and again, this is the trucking lifestyle. Get used to it. That's trucking, you know. Okay, but how do you react to that? How do you adapt to that? That was a tough gig in the first 4 or 5 years of me driving. Shannon says you have to learn to laugh at yourself. I do. Yeah, you know, I'll give you, I'll give you a perfect example of how regret is dumb, right? So when I was in junior high, there was this girl that I had a crush on, and I was scared to death to ask her to hang out. I was scared to death to talk to her. And at one point, I embarrassed myself in front of her, and I thought it was the worst day of my entire life. And looking back, you laugh at that. Like, that was so silly. Like, the Steve today would have gone right up to her and said, hey, let's hang out, you know? Hey, doggy. She's going that way. And but that's harder to do on the bigger mistakes in life, right? That's hard to do. And so you either have to laugh at yourself or you have to forgive yourself, because you only know what you know. Like, you don't beat up the fish for not knowing how to walk, right? And that it takes a certain amount of calmness to discover yourself. You know, I you have to find yourself. That was what trucking did for me. It was, it helped me find myself. It helped me look internally of who I really was. And when I broke down the barriers, I didn't like who I was. That's what it boiled down to. So I had to become the person that I would hang out with. I would have to become the person that I like. And you have to do that for yourself. Because if you don't like yourself, you're going to do bad things, either to yourself or to other people. You know, and you see that online all the time. There are YouTubers in our circle that you can tell that they just don't like themselves. They may say they do. They may show a false sense of pride of listing their accomplishments. But deep down inside, you know that they just hate themselves. And that's sad. And you see that when when a person's... Yes. Come on. Come on, Brad. Kids letting the animals out. When you're the loudest person in the room, I see a lot of insecurity. I see a lot of fear. I see a lot of anxiety. And I get it, because I have fear. I have anxiety. I have, you know, I deal with that on a daily basis. But you kind of have to keep those demons at bay with positive reinforcement, not negative dopamine. And so that's why I have trouble contributing to the YouTube shorts, because what can I do that doesn't contribute to the negative aspects of that platform? Now, Red Chicken might be doing some things that will contribute to the positive aspects of that platform. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Some of you new to my channel are like, what the? What are you talking about? Red chicken? That's. What are you talking about? How narcissistic is this? I have my Snorelord hat and my Snorelord big coffee mug going into my Snorelord cup. I have a problem. My wife and I were having a conversation with someone about how many knives I have, and I was like, "Do you love me even though I have like X amount of knives?" And she's like, "That's not a problem." It's like, and she told me about another conversation she heard. You know, it was a YouTube video or something where, or no, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Her and the kids went and watched, and there was a scene where that's not a problem. No, but maybe I do have a problem. Hurt people always hurt people. Yes. Every live shot I do is an exercise in laughing at myself. The road goes on forever and the party never ends till it does. Marketing lot list. Yeah, you're right, Ponzi. You know, Ponzi, you can create a Teespring store for very what I like about Teespring is you can literally set up a store for free and just start selling crap. You know, the profit's kind of lower, you know, other than, you know, but here's how I think about it. Because I know, like, I know people that have sold merchandise on YouTube that went from Teespring to doing it in-house. And I'm telling you, making t-shirts is not fun. I learned silk screening in junior high. Probably forgot everything I've learned. And there's a lot of work to that. And so now even if I hire somebody here in town to make the shirts, now I have to have inventory. Now I have to have 20, and I know because I did this with the band, right? Now if you're touring, yeah, you want an inventory of merchandise. But if you're not touring, you know, between getting them made, having the inventory, you know, the investment of that inventory, and having, and then the shipping cost, you know, because you drivers want $8 a mile, the it's just not worth it. Whereas Teespring, I can literally upload my image, boom, it's done. And this hat was literally, the turnaround time in the hat is like a week. And that's embroidery. And like, there's the other side of it. So, coffee mugs took about a month. T-shirts take about several weeks, I think. I did have one person order a long sleeve. And it took like 6 months to get it. So just be aware. I don't have control over that though. But it'd probably be that way if I was handling all the shipping, because I'm horrible about that. You know, people are like, "Hey Steve, can I get a guitar pick?" Yeah, and then like 2 weeks later, "Hey, are you still gonna send out that guitar pick?" Diesel, hey, what are you doing? I don't know if he's eating something dead or eating grass. Can't tell. The grass is too tall. I got to get this lawn done this weekend. I may have to give it a go, but I need to find a street that leads back to the big road, the band, Elwood, the band. God love you, Steve. Well, thank you. That heart gets in the way of the comments. I can't stand that heart. Don't feel bad, Snorelord. If I ever had Shannon merch, it would be ridiculous. Well, Shannon, you can create that store. I paid somebody $100 to make this logo. And he gave me like 8 versions of it. There's the green one, and then you have, this is my favorite one. It's got the detail of the, you know, this guy that does heavy metal logos. So, um, if I had a band, I would contact this dude. If you're a metal guy, if you're like country western, probably not. This probably ain't the guy for you. But um, people, and look, it wasn't like, I think people would love Snorelord hats and shirts. I've had people ask me, so I'm not under this delusion that I'm going to sell a bunch of crap, right? Because 10 years from now, people are going to find this in a thrift store and they're going to be like, what the hell's this? What's a Snorelord? Who the F is this guy? Oh, it must be a band. And they're going to search Snorelord on the AI that's trapped in their heads, you know, because that's how we'll scroll the internet in 10 years. And they're going to go, oh, it's this guy that talked a lot, that didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And that's the future of Snorelord merchandise. That's what's going to happen. You know, it's not like everybody's going to be like everybody walks around with a Metallica or Iron Maiden t-shirt. It's not like everybody's going to walk around with a Snorelord shirt. But for the people that have bought Snorelord stuff, I appreciate you. But it's easy because not one penny of my investment has gone into it. I have bought my own stuff to sample it, and they give you a discount on your samples. And I have some more ideas for future merch. You know, some sayings that I say, like it's as simple as that, because 99% of your problems have simple solutions, but people don't like their problems downgraded to a simple solution, so you have to get complex, and then people realize that through those complexities you can sell books and videos and DVDs, and if that's still a thing, and memberships, right? You know, because you want, the simple answers aren't good enough. You want complexity answers, because your problem is complex, and only you have that problem. So it's so complex that it requires complexity, and so people have recognized that, and they make money off those complexities. Me, I just want you to subscribe to my channel and buy maybe a coffee mug. I don't drink coffee. Well, this does great with cold drinks as well. So, Lot Liz, right, Ponzi? I've been thinking about doing the apnea stuff too. A lot of people have been asking for some reason. Like, I still have a couple of, I might have gotten rid of my last apnea shirt. I had like a men's small. Well, unfortunately, most people at our shows aren't a men's small, so that shirt took a while to get rid of. Snorelord holiday slippers. They exist. Not Snorelord, but you can, I'm telling you, Teespring has everything. It has women leggings. You can have Snorelord on your butt with some women leggings if I make that an option. Ponzi says, I can see that happening. Ponzi loves Goodwill. Yeah, there was, that sometimes that's how we kill time. You know, sometimes the family is just restless, so, but we don't really have the money or the time to go like somewhere cool. So we'll go hit the thrift stores. You know, my son and I will do that, and then my wife and I will do that, and then my oldest daughter and I will go and do thrift stores. You don't always need solutions, just become comfortable with chaos and disorder. That's it, CB. That's it. The other day, I think it was last week. Last week was a chaotic week for me when it came to work. And there was one point where I pounded the desk and said curse words. And then I went into the bedroom where my wife was working, and I was like, man, Brian, shut up, Brian. And she's like, are you sure you want to sell the truck and do this? Because what are you doing over there? There ain't nothing for you over there except spider webs. Come on. What are you doing? You want to be on YouTube? Look, here's the doggy. Hey. Hey. Oh. He's like, barge. There he is. There. You'll see the dog. Hey. Look at the doggy. He's like, let me in. Don't hug me. She's like, are you sure that you want to give up the truck and do this? I'm like, honey, if you saw how many times I beat up the steering wheel, how many times I've cursed really loud in the truck with no one watching, you would know that this is normal for me. And she's like, oh, okay. When I was a line cook at a restaurant, you had to have your brain working on 5 or 6 different things. You know, you had some orders up, you had waitresses needing things, you had food cooking, and you had to like mentally compartmentalize each item that was going out. It's a very similar skill set. Very similar skill set here. And every now and then something slips through the cracks. I'm like, oh no, I forgot that. You know, that kind of thing. But I realized that if I'm going to get out of the truck and do this kind of work, that I was going to need to be mentally resilient. So that's what I've been working on. Because the chaos is going to happen. Jeff will tell you, chaos is in his house all the time. You know, between the carrier and dealing with his family stuff, you know, I'm beginning to be the same way. You know, it might be Sunday at 6 a.m. I get a call because a logbook got screwed up or something like that. And, you know, which is fine. That's what I'm paid to do. But there are times when it's chaotic and there are times when it's like too quiet. You know, when things are going smooth and quiet for a minute, I'm like, it's like that scene in The Lord of the Rings where they're in the cave thing and I think it was Gandalf. He goes, "It's quiet, too quiet." That's how I feel sometimes. And mastering the chaos is probably one of the best, you know, skill sets. You know, the gift of discernment and to be able to master the chaos, be able to ride not only ride the storm but master the storm. That's what people should achieve for, or try to achieve to, I guess. You know, I'm not good with as many books as I read. You would think I'd have better English, but I'm not. So, Snorelord coloring books, yeah, that's the ticket, dude. Snorelord crypto. Now you guys are getting ridiculous. Pond says, "Did you get your Snorelord corn yet?" Tell him about it, Steve. Coloring books. My coloring books would be like for a 2-year-old, like just shapes. Like you know, these adult coloring books. They're so ridiculous. They got so many fine lines. It's like you're gonna take your colored pencil and go in there for like three minutes just to scribble in a, like, my sister works on adult coloring books, and I can see the appeal to it. I remember when the kids were little, you know, they love it when Daddy would color with them, right? So, you know, here I am, this big burly metal dude, you know, going, "I'll color with you," and I find myself, I found it relaxing. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Um, but like, I don't know. I'm not going to go to the toy store and buy, oh, you know, Paw Patrol coloring books. so, so the adult coloring books are cool, but they're so detailed. It would like take me years. I don't have that kind of free time. I'd rather I'd rather write music. Which my daughter's accelerated her guitar playing, which is cool. She's been borrowing my acoustic guitar. The big cup is almost is empty. So. I really think it would be awesome. Trucking, guitars, beards, uncommon sense. Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate Ponzi's a good dude, man. I got to hang out with him a few times, and we were at Landstar together, and and some of our greatest videos, like from the truck shows, was when he shows up. I remember one time he showed up cooking eggs for everybody. It was freaking awesome. Ponzi's a good dude, man. I miss hanging out with him, and I know you're going through some struggles, Ponzi. I hope you figure it out, man. I hope you're figuring it out, and I think you are. We also share a bond with the music. I would love to do a jam session with Ponzi sometime. We both get on the guitar, and we both have our acoustic guitars going, and I think that would be a great thing. I think that we can make some tunes, Ponzi. So if you ever come through Missouri, man, hit me up. Or if you ever make it to Matt's, hit me up, man. We'll jam. It would be an honor to jam with a musician such as yourself. And I know you have some musician chops. I've seen it. So. Adult coloring books are punk rock. Yeah, I'm sure they're out there, but like, it would be a Viking theme based, right? Like if a Monomarth created like coloring books. I wonder if that exists. Let's Google that. Viking coloring book. There it is. It's on Amazon for $8. Look how detailed though that is. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, there's the detail. I'm sure a couple of you hitting the rumble strips right now. There's the detail right there. That's pretty cool. I might order that. Here, I'll put a link in. I'll put it in the chat. Oh, the link is too long. Dang it. Yeah, it won't let me post. We just ruined Snorelord with coloring books. My effects pedals make up for all playing abilities with noise. Sterling, I think that might be something I might purchase once the truck is sold. I've made a promise to myself that I wouldn't buy anything frivolous until the truck was sold. And there's one knife that I want, and there's one firearm I want, and there's one guitar thing I want. I think it's that pedal that you got. I believe. I got to remember what that is, but those are the three things I think I'm going to buy for myself once the truck is sold. So someone buy my truck so I can buy cool stuff. Are there adult-themed coloring books asking for CV? Probably. If not, you can kind of make them. I put some weird pictures in my head, but, you know, hey, whatever floats your boat, man. I don't judge. So. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to be done with this. I got to get a couple of chores done before we head over to the Joplin. I'm going to try to convince my wife to go early so we can go check out the record store there. If you're, I put a playlist on this channel. You know, put it on repeat and just forget about that. You know, take your troll account and do that or whatever. Help this channel. I want to be able to monetize this channel. Until I get to 1,000 subs, this video will go private for a second, but I'll immediately put it public because I didn't use StreamYard because I'm a chump that way. Thanks for you guys watching. I appreciate you guys. Listen to me rambling about probably nothing is kind of, it's kind of weird to me, but hey, whatever floats your boat. If it gets you down the road, if it makes that time sitting at the truck stop a little bit, I don't know, more entertaining, then I'm glad to help. Make sure you like, subscribe the other channel as well if you're not, which I think 100% of the people in here are subscribed to the other channel. Spread the word about this channel. We try not to talk about trucking too much on this channel, but it happens because we're a bunch of truck drivers, right? The truck is for sale. If you're interested in it, you can contact me through the email that's on my big channel. And let's see what else. There's something else I was going to say. I don't remember. But thanks for watching, everybody. Be good, be safe. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Peace.